Hey everyone, Willie Miranda with Miranda Real Estate Group, and welcome to another Live with the Leader podcast. And I'm here with Melissa Matey. Hello, Melissa.
Hi there, Willie. How you doing today?
Melissa, you've been with Miranda Real Estate Group for a number of years now, and you're continually always in the top 10 in the President's Club over the last few years, doing a great job for not only your clients, but also you're a big giver to a lot of the agents here at Miranda Real Estate Group. So just want to have a conversation with you today just to talk a little bit about how you got into the business and some of the things that you're doing now, and maybe some advice that you would give to some newer agents and also some agents that maybe have some experience but are struggling. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself and how you got into real estate?
Well, I grew up in Connecticut, and I actually have a degree in horticulture from Cornell. And my first job was in the cut flower business, the wholesale cut flower business, actually in Clifton Park, New York, which is interesting. And did that for like 5 years, and then moved overseas for 3 years and had 3 kids. So when we came back after about 3 years, I was kind of looking for something to do. I wanted to get back into the workforce, and I started with Pampered Chef, which we actually do quite a bit with fundraising with Pampered Chef here to benefit the Albany Children's Hospital. But I did that for about 5 years, got tired of it. It was all nights, and just was looking for something that was flexible, maybe not 9 to 5, but I had young children at the time. And I just decided to get into real estate, and it's been 24 years.
Yeah. So you were looking for flexibility, you had young kids, you had that entrepreneur spirit, right? So you wanted to have that flexibility. And I ask that a lot of times, like why people got into real estate. And it's usually because of flexibility. It's usually because unlimited income. Sometimes they don't, the sky's the limit or there's no ceiling, but they also forget that there's no floor either in this business, right? So, but I think that, especially now, I've noticed a lot of agents that want to get into the business. I've always wanted to get into real estate. I love showing houses. I mean, what do you say to that?
It's a lot more than just showing houses. I think you need to have a sales background. You need to be able to communicate with people. Everybody has their own style, their own personality, of course, but you need to be able to communicate with different kinds of people. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot involved in selling real estate. It's not just all, we're going to go look at these houses. Isn't this fun? It's very competitive. It can be. There's a lot involved with paperwork and different things, whether you're working with a buyer or seller. So it's very involved, actually. It takes a while to learn, kind of the ins and outs.
Right. What do you love best about real estate?
I think the flexibility. It can be flexible, not now with this market, but
we're busy, right?
Yeah, busy. But if you do need to take some time out, spend some time with family or whatever's going on with your life, you can definitely make that happen. And there are people on the team that you can work with to help you out. So I like that aspect of it too.
Now, Melissa, going back in time, how long have you been in the business now, total?
24 years.
24 years. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty good. I think I've been in it just a little bit over that. So you and I have been in the business for a long time.
Yeah.
Thinking back when you first started and now knowing what you know now, there's a lot of new agents coming into the business right now. So, we always try to help them. We always try to give them guidance. And I know you work with a lot of agents, mentoring them as well. I mean, what's like the top 2 or 3 things that you recommend these new agents do as soon as they come into the real estate business?
Well, you have to rely on your contacts because that's that's where a lot of your leads are going to come from initially anyway. You have to be able to have some sort of CRM that you can get them into. You should be taking advantage of any and all training that's offered to you because, as I said, there's awful lot involved, and Miranda Real Estate does an awesome job in training us, the experienced agents, as well as anybody new coming into the business. So it's really important to be on the Monday morning masterminds where you're getting motivated for the week, and all the other trainings and guest speakers and everything that you bring in for us.
Yeah, I really try to do the best we can with that, and it has been great. You know, training is something that I think that looking back for myself, I feel that what allowed me to have a lot of success early on was investing in myself, investing in the coaching,
Yeah.
getting out there, getting the training, because some of the companies that I work for, unfortunately, didn't have the training, or they had a little bit limited type training, and I wanted more. So getting into coaching and really getting out there. And that's one of the things that I admire about you, Melissa, is that anytime that we've had events, and being a coach that I was for many, many years, that opportunity to go to 3, 4, 5 conferences a year, and I would invite all the agents to go, but it would be on their dime, right? They'd have to pay. I'd get them in, but they'd have to fly and they have to get their room, but I get them the entry fee to get in. And not a lot of people took me up on it, Melissa, but you did. You took it multiple times, and you were able to learn a lot from that by, I guess I'll put it in, have you say it yourself. What do you feel was good about and what helped you in going to these conferences outside of our market? How did that help you?
Well, I think that you get to network with agents from, as you said, different markets, and see kind of what's working in their markets. And I know you brought a lot of those things back. In particular that we've worked with over COVID is Facebook Live, which was something that nobody else was doing.
Right.
And, you know somebody in Florida and you brought it to us, and it really works. I think it's, networking with other successful people from other markets, and just being able to be around successful people changes your whole outlook.
Yeah, true. And not only that, it's the power of the mastermind, because I think a lot of times when you're here locally and you're meeting with a lot of other agents, they don't want to share as much, right? Because they're really are competitors. And sometimes you find that even within your own organization. So being able to go out and explore, and you'd be surprised at how much they share with you outside of our marketplace. And I think that's what we benefited from the most.
Yeah, and one of the other things you always used to say to me is, well, you have to implement, because it's great to go to these things and learn all these things, but then you come home and then what?
Right.
If you don't do anything about it, what was the sense of going?
Right. No, it's true. It's all about action, right? You come up with all these great ideas, but if you don't do anything about them, you're not going to get anywhere with it. So great point on that. Let's talk about the typical day and I know what was before and what it is now is totally different. I know we're in a crazy market right now. But as far as your typical day, I mean, what do you try to do? Is there any must-haves in your schedule that you have to do? And what are some of the, I guess, time blocks that you set up for yourself in a typical day that you have?
So number one, leave the house. It's important for me, at least. Some people can work at home. I find that really distracting, and I need to get into a space where, I have an office feeling where I can actually feel like I'm getting things done. And then time blocking, yes. Every day I have different things that I'm working on and new business that I'm trying to get. So it's a combination of things every day. And
So really just time blocking, lead generation, getting in the office. I think it was a big one,
Yes.
though, you just said. Whether it's your home office or whether it's an office, physical office, is getting up every day, whatever time that may be, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, taking a shower, hopefully you're taking a shower.
Yeah.
Right? Get dressed, comb your hair, brush your teeth, and get somewhere on a daily basis, just like you're hiring yourself. And I think that's one of the things with real estate, Melissa, that I found is that so many agents get into this business because of the flexibility, right? They can make their own hours, but it's making their own hours is why I see a lot of them fail.
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't know what to do. They're sitting around in their underwear at 11 o'clock in the morning, right?
In bed. Yeah.
Right.
Get up. You gotta be motivated.
Right.
Just like any other job, and it's up to you. If you don't do it, we're independent contractors. Nobody's going to make you do it. So everybody makes their own way in real estate.
So I know the discussion came up over the last couple of weeks. We've been kind of getting into it with some of the training that we've been doing internally of how important follow-up is, especially in this market. I have people that are thinking about selling, people that are thinking about buying, and making sure that they get put into some type of system. What is your system for follow-up? Like, what are you doing to to make sure that you're following up on all those leads that you have, and also making sure that you get back to people, whether it be buyer or sellers?
I have a few different things. I have a CRM. I have Top Producer, so I definitely use that.
Mm-hmm.
I have written files for every file that I work on because I need to see it in writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have a daily to-do sheet for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I made some Excel spreadsheets recently that I think are really helping me because I can see everything in one spot. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
Using,
hey, that's something that's one of the biggest struggles, right, that agents have. Even someone with the number of units and the volume that you do, it's a constant struggle, always trying to time manage and fit everything into that day, right, to make sure that we have that work-life balance as well. And I know it's so tough. We talked about that. The one thing that I always usually ask too is that there's so many different ways to generate business out there for leads. And you mentioned earlier about the importance of having a database and making sure that you have your center of influence that you're building on. What are some other lead generation sources that you've seen out there, whether it be for sellers or buyers? Where else can you generate business?
Oh, there's a bunch of online things that I'm members of a couple of them, but not really that effective because once you get the lead, there's 50 other agents that are getting the lead at the same time. I do have a Zillow Premier account too. I don't know. I don't find that as effective really either. But I do try to concentrate on my COI. I have a newsletter that I send out probably 6 times a year. I've started doing anniversary cards for everybody that's bought a home and sending that out a few days from their home anniversary. Mm-hmm. Do a couple client events at least per year to try to keep in contact with those same people, because I find that that's where most of my leads do come from. Mm-hmm. And I do use texting sign writers on my listings, so I do get quite a few calls from that, I would say, too.
Instead of the brochure boxes, actually the text writers.
Yeah. Yep.
Which are great, right? Why are they better than the actual flyers that you would just put in a box?
Because I'm capturing their phone number. Yeah. They will get a phone call from me. And the other thing is that they get all the information right away on their phone. So it's not just a piece of paper. They've got information about the neighborhood. They have all the photos. They have other links. And I think they find it much more valuable than just a brochure.
A big nugget that you just gave, and I don't think a lot of agents do this, Melissa, is that you send out a newsletter. You said, 5-6 times a year.
Yeah.
And you're sending that out to your database. And as your database has grown over the years, more and more of those mailers are going out. So again, people do business with who they know, like, and trust, right? We've said that for 100 years. And that's a big thing that you just kind of skip through that. But it's a big thing. It's a big deal to make sure you're in front of your clients, because if you're not, someone else is going to be, right?
Yeah.
And any recent success stories that come from your newsletter or what you've been sending out?
Well, I got 2 sell-by calls recently, which is great. I know I'm definitely going to be working with one of them. The other one was more of an inquiry, but I developed kind of this format with the newsletter where I'll include some stats, some market stats. I'll have like a testimonial. I'll have some thank yous to recent solds. I'll have a listing that I'm highlighting, and then I'll have a note from me about the market and different things, and a couple of prompts for them to get in touch with me, like a home evaluation and things within there. So, it's when it goes out, it's targeting the things that people want to see, the market stats, and showing success. So,
it's good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
We call that what? Evidence of success, right? People want to see that, and putting it out there that you sold homes, you're in the business, you're active, right. And that's what people want to deal with. And not only on your center of influence, but I'm a big believer too of owning or having some type of geographic farm area that you're going with as well, and send the same newsletter out to. You know my stories that I've had for a number of years, sending them out and just being consistent with them, and they do pay off.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about social media. I I know that's, for some agents, they don't do any type of marketing, like social media is all they do. I know that's not the case with you, but I do know that you do social media. And it's sometimes a struggle, right, to know what to put on there, what not to put on there, et cetera.
Yeah.
But what would you say about social media? Has that had a major impact on your business now, or is that something that you're looking to do more of?
Well, I'd say I'm looking to do more of it. I can say that I'm doing better than I was, but I guess I'm still not as consistent as I'd like to be. I do have some templates now made for things like just sold, just listed. I do like to send out like a every door direct when I have just solds. So I've been doing quite a bit of that lately.
Now that's direct mailing, right?
Direct mailing, yep.
Yep.
The social media, though, like I said, it's a work in progress. I'm trying.
And that's something that I know we had talked about last week at one of our meetings, and that's why I brought it up, because I know it's something that finding the content and what to put on, I mean, that's a struggle that a lot of agents have. And I know you're working towards doing that. But on the other hand, you also know that it's important. And that's why, you definitely focus on it as a priority. So that's what we're doing on that. I mean, what do you see as far as the relationships that are going on out there? So many agents out there, you've been around this business for a long time. Yeah. And I try to tell agents all the time, play nice in the sandbox, how important that is, because you never know. But what's your thoughts on that with your relationships with other agents, not only in our company, but outside of our company?
Well, I think it's really important. I find a lot of times when I call people, they're like, oh, hi, Melissa, they know who I am. And that's always a good thing. But I mean, the other part of it is when you're submitting offers or you're talking to people about your listings, you have to, you have to have everything together. It has to be in a nice package. And you don't want to be sending like 6 emails to submit an offer, because that's, how you present yourself and your offers is how they notice you. And you have a better chance if you have good relationships with those people.
So true. So true, especially now with all the multiple offers going on and everything else that's going on. And there's a lot of frustration out there by a lot of agents. And
definitely.
It's unfortunate, some of the conversations I hear that take place with some agents, but it's just because they're just so frustrated, and it's nice to know someone else on the other side that you've done business with that know and can trust you that, hey, if I tell you this is what's going to happen, or I'm going to send you this by a certain time, then we're going to do that. Especially if you're on the listing side, right? We get a lot of people that question us like, hey, do you really have another offer? Or, is it really, is the seller this is really important to the seller, et cetera. So it's always good to have good relationships with other people. All right. Well, just kind of wrapping things up, Melissa, I mean, where do you see yourself moving in this business? Are you looking to retire next year, or are you going to still give it a little bit of time?
Oh, no, definitely not next year. No, I definitely see my business growing. I am working on getting more systems in place to make things easier for myself, that I don't have to do the things that I don't like to do or I don't have time to do. But I definitely see it growing, and definitely, being in the top 10, that's a goal of mine. And yes, I'd like to retire at some point. And I'd like to have a great COI that I can, pass to somebody else at that time and still get referrals through that network. So I think real estate is a great business for something like that. It just gives you so many opportunities, whether you're just starting out or whether you're thinking about retiring too.
Yeah, you're right, because really our database is our asset, right? We've said that for many years. And just to retire one day and send a letter out to your whole book of business and say, hey, I'm retiring, see you later, huge mistake, right? So if you can create another relationship with another agent or two that you can refer business out to, it could be a great annuity for you by just getting those referrals out, because people are going to trust who you recommend them to, and they're going to come to you for that. So with that, I know congratulations on another great year last year. You got another great year this year too. You're on pace for the President's Club. We're going to be going to Aruba a bunch of us that made President's Club here this year. So that's exciting, right? Last year,
very exciting.
We weren't able to do it last year with COVID, but we're going to definitely do that this year and spend some time in Aruba to celebrate. But if we had a potential client that was looking to either buy or sell a home, what would be the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Probably either by text or phone on my cell phone. Mm-hmm. And the number is 518-852-2006.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. I know we're in a busy time of the year, but I know you have a great year going and you're going to have an even better finish to the year. So thank you very much. And thank you for all you do at Miranda Real Estate Group.
Thank you, Willie.